And we are live, hopping on the stream for a few minutes before we tee it up at the JDC. A fun week, 4th of July weekend, but it's really John Deere Classic week. That's all the people are caring about. I'm going out tonight with the boys, and I saw some people that I'm meeting up with later, females, and they were like, "What are you doing for JDC week?" And I was like, "You guys know too." So it's just like everyone is talking about it, everyone knows about it, everyone is planning parties tomorrow around it. So happy JDC week to you. Let's win some money. Let's talk about some things, some quotes. Neil Shipley had a crazy quote. He was like, "I feel like this course is really hard, and this course is going to be a challenge. And short game is really de-emphasized around this place because the around the green play is really hard." I don't know if that really makes sense. If the around the green play is really hard for a PGA Tour venue, that should not de-emphasize it. That should do the opposite. The only time it could possibly be de-emphasized is if it's like so comically hard where no one is being able to do X task. But at the JDC, guys are going to be able to get it up and down. I'm sorry, Neil Shipley. So I mean, he's a great player. He's a stud. I just didn't really know what he meant by this quote. Also, they talked about the rain that came a night ago or 2 nights ago. It's going to be soft. You can't get away. If you guys shoots over par, just cross him off, unstar him. You're going to be losing a ton of ground if you're even over par or around par any round. So the rain is going to make the golf course play a little bit longer, put a little bit more focus on hitting the fairways. But if you're in the fairways, go hone at pins, go attack, or else you're going to be getting lapped. So no real make or break quotes. I just thought what Neil Shipley was saying was what Neil Shipley said was just very odd. So yeah, the short game is oddly difficult here, not difficult towards like a concern. Whereas in retrospect, like you want your guys to be 20 under. They shouldn't be having to get up and down a ton. But when they are missing greens, it might be a little bit tricky. So look out for that over the week. So talking about some bets, I definitely did skip the top of this odds board. But if I had to pick one, it'd probably be. I honestly I'd probably start with Denny. I would skip the entire top and go up to Denny, but he is moving a ton and getting close to the 22 to 1 range I saw in some spots. So if I had to go somewhere at the top, it would probably be Denny. I think Denny is a great DFS target. I also think Aaron Rye is a really good DFS target. We see all the time golfers, finish runner up, play really good golf at courses that like may or may not make sense for them. And like, you're like, all right, this guy's like a middling player. He's not going to keep up the form. For Jake Knapp, Mexico to Honda. Jake Knapp had no business finishing in the top 5 at the Honda. And he did because he found that little hot spurt. Aaron Rye's now on like a really strong run of elite ball striking, elite golf. And there's no reason it can't keep rolling here. He's a golfer who will hit a ton of fairways. Maybe not under their Sunday gun pressure, but for his price in DFS, for his floor, I think it's really high. And he didn't have the ownership I thought. Also, like we kind of thought early in the week people were gonna skip Jordan Spieth in DFS, and that seems to be the case. They're going with the Sep, the Rye, the other guys up top, Maverick. They're going with those guys definitely over Jordan Spieth. Now, I think Jordan Spieth will post one round of 5 under or 6 under, and then around that he'll have 3 rounds of 2 or 3 under. That's not going to be enough to get it done, but is that going to be enough to pay off a DFS lineup? And for him being the highest priced guy, I would think he needs to finish inside the top 10 at worst for him to cash a lineup. And I say that because of his price. Usually the highest priced guy needs to finish inside like the top 8 or 6 or 4 for him to really make sense in terms of lineup construction. But with Jordan Spieth's price, he doesn't necessarily have to finish inside the top 5 for him to pay off your lineup. So I think he can finish inside the top 5. If we do the math, he shoots 1 round of 5 under, 3 rounds of 2 to 3 under. Let's call that minus 14. Historically, minus 14 will get you, let's look it up now. John Deere Classic 2023. Minus 14 would get you T17 in 2023. John Deere Classic 2022, minus 14 would get you T10. So I'm going to put my baseline for Jordan Spieth around minus 14. I don't think that's going to be enough for him to pay off. And you just got to ask yourself, is it worth it? It's definitely a play that if he does finish inside the T5, he will pay off because of his ownership, and you probably would be able to build it around him. So then from there, No one really else that's catching my eye besides like that Rye. I really like Rye. I think Maverick at 20% ownership. I don't get it. I don't know why we're doing it again. I like JT Poston. JT Poston in that range is definitely a solid play, in my opinion. JT Poston, and then what is he, 9-1, and then above there, Denny, I think, is really safe chalk. Jason Day and Keith are both. Jason Day is going completely overlooked, and I know the stats aren't great right now, and he doesn't have the best course history, but can Jason Day finish T8 in this field? 110% yes. 110% yes. So I think he's a sprinkle. I don't think he's a ESL every single lineup. I don't think you need him. But a guy that I meant to put in every single one of my lineups, but like I forgot. I'm saying this right now, and he's probably going to be first round leader now that I forgot this, is JJ Spawn. I love everything about JJ Spawn. He's at $7,400, I believe. Yeah, 7.4. JJ Spawn. He's going to come in around 3% to 7% ownership. I think he's an absolute hammer this week. He's trending in the right direction, gaining on approach, knows how to win on a TPC design, knows how to get low. Played really well on the weekend last week. So I love me some Spawn this week. So I'm not going to go through every single range like I did on Monday, but just give you some final thoughts and some final guys I like. I'm still pretty warm on Dunlap. Some guys I'm fading, Clanton and Cole, total fades for me. Just as they're chalky in that middle 8K range. I think anyone from that Dunlap, you and Glover. The projections don't see Dunlap being one of the chalkiest guys in his 8K range, but I see him really eating some up. So maybe pivot down to you and Glover, who have just as high a ceiling as Nick Dunlap. And then, or just skip all the way down. Like I raved about Seamus Power early in the week, and I think was the best bet at 70-1. I cashed him out. I cashed Seamus Power 70-1 out. Had all the CLV in the world. Will I look stupid on Sunday afternoon? Maybe, but I gotta stay true to my brand. I will never bet golfers who are popular. Like I just don't do it. At Golf Tips Tracker is my favorite account on Twitter. They make me a lot of money fading the popular golfers. Just this year, we've had 29 golf tournaments, 29 or 28. 29 golf tournaments. In 29 events, we have 2 winners that have came from the chart. Akshay Bhatia at the Valero and Bryson DeChambeau at the U.S. Open. So if you're fading that, you're probably making money this year. And a lot of people haven't been making money in golf betting this year, but I can happily say that I'm paying the bills. So we're doing all right this year. We'll talk a little bit more DFS. I'm not going to go through the entire 6K range, but I talked about some 7K guys. Seamus and Adam Svensson make a ton of sense, but I'm pivoting down to Hostler and Griffin, who are just a little bit less owned, with maybe not the safest at all, but I think their ceiling is worth it for taking off 8% to 10% ownership down for that. And then Joel Damon, I really almost bet him, but I didn't love his putting history just around these types of greens in long term, but I like the way he's ball striking it. JJ Spawn, I just think you can just go with that. If you want to golfer in that range, JJ Spawn is my pick for sure. Not going to go through the entire 6K range because I did a whole show on it, but so click back to the Golf Gambling Podcast, 6K Psychos, if you need that show. And then from there, Ben Silverman and Chandler Phillips, I think they're both great plays. I think Ben Silverman's also a good bet. Ben Silverman's trending in both accuracy, in driving accuracy, irons, and he's putting. He's gained strokes putting in the last 4 starts. This is a Ben Silverman course for sure. Outside of that, some long shot bets I like. I bet 4 guys over 100-1. Michael Thorbjornsen, I gave the case on Monday or Tuesday. I like the way I like how Ludwig came out. He was the bomber. He was the young stud who was just gonna make sense on all these long, difficult tracks. What does he do? Wins the RSM Classic, wins in Switzerland, mixes in all these short courses. Why can't Thorbjornsen do the same? He finished top 20 in this event last year. He has a T4 at the Travelers. All short positional courses that make sense in these birdie fests. I'm going to try it at 100. And Ben Cole's 110. Another guy. He's been finally, I think the Ben Coles thing was all confidence. He's finally bursting out of his shell, and he did it at the Byron Nelson, finished minus 22 or whatever, gagged it, but he's been in the mix since then and just playing better golf. So I gave the Ben Silverman case, Ben Coles 110-1, and then Grayson Sigg 110-1. A golfer who's not good at much, but he's good at driving the ball in the fairway, and he's really good from 100 to 175. So those are some keys I'm looking for this week. Yeah, that about wraps it up. Just talked for 10 minutes. Wanted to give my final opinions. Any But this is a pretty quiet show. Not many of you guys in here today. So yeah, any last minute questions, you know where to find me. Shoot me a DM. Enjoy your John Deere Classic weekend, because I don't know what other holiday there is this week. And I'll catch you guys most likely Friday night with the weekend leaderboard update. Peace out.